Hi, I'm Max Perez from Digital Octopus. Today, we're going to be installing this DO 1624 speedometer on this 2017 Camaro. We're going to go from this analog speedometer to this fully digital speedometer. Follow me and let's get started. But before we start, something just came in that I don't know if I should keep or do a video on. This is for the new Ford Mustangs. But we're working on Camaros today. Let's go. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the dashboard. That has to come out, unfortunately, but it's really easy. And all you need is these two tools. You need a panel removal tool like this one, and you need a 7mm socket with an extension. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the radio first, and we're gonna take out the panel, and finally we're gonna take out the speedometer. So just so you know, there's two versions of the radio. Both of them have different ways to take them out. One of them, the one without the LED up here, you kind of just pry from it on the top, and then the two screws are going to be visible. You take those out and you go from there. On this one, however, you will have to use the panel removal tool, like right on this edge right here. You're going to see that small edge. I like to go from the bottom right around here, this corner, and I just push up and then just twist, and that should come right out. So the radio is already a little loose because I was doing other videos for it, for the new radio that's coming out, which is a bigger radio, and it's not ready yet. That's why it's not on sale, but it will be out soon when you see this video. So let's see if that comes out. Nope, a little bit more. And we're just going to remove these two screws here. Then later we're going to remove the rest of the screw. And remember, this is a 7mm socket. So I'm just going to kind of make these fall in my hand right here. I will put a towel right here just to protect the screen. So now we can go ahead and remove these wires for now. So to remove these, we basically have a clip right over here. And what we're going to do is just push that in and pull. Same here. These four are for the illumination of the radio. This is what turns on the lights here. And then you have the main power right over here, and then you have the USB. If for some reason you don't have power in the USB, it's most likely because of this, or if you're not getting, you get a black LED screen, is most likely because of this is not connected properly. So I'm going to put my radio in the back. Now you're going to have about 4 screws right here that you're going to take off. Actually 5. I already took them off. So it's the first 2 we took out, and then you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 right over here. And then same deal, we're gonna go ahead and just pull this out with the prying tool, and it'll snap right out. All right, so that's out of the way. And then another set of screws is gonna be revealed, which is right here, and probably over there. Okay, and that's it. So then we're gonna go ahead and pull this whole piece apart now, and the same deal, we're gonna go ahead and remove from the top. I'm just gonna stick this in here. It might be a little harder on your car just because this one I did a few times already. All right, so now that is halfway out, we're gonna remove the engine start button. And to do that, we're gonna pinch on the clip and pull. Same with the illumination side. This one's a little bit easier to take out. Once we have this removed here, we're gonna go ahead and remove this part right here. And what I like to do, I just stick my panel removal tool, and I just twist a little bit, and then I kind of stick it in right through here, and then up, give it a little pressure, right through here, give it a little pressure up, and I'll come right up. Same with the other side. All right, so now that's out of the way. So now we can go ahead and remove this entire piece altogether. When you do get the radio, if you want to upgrade, you will also need to do this process, except you will not have to remove everything here. Unless you're getting the higher end radio that connects to your AC, then you will need to take this entire piece out regardless. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. All right, so we're just gonna lay this on the side for now. We'll put it up here. Okay, so now that we have our panel out, what we're gonna do is remove 4 screws. We got 1 here, 1 on the other side, and then 2 way in the back inside this area here. I'm gonna show you what that looks like in just 1 second. So the first 2 we're gonna take out is the top 2, and now we're gonna do the 2 at the bottom. All right, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this harness that goes right over here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna press here, and this little tab, you're just gonna push it down, and this will pop up. Then we're gonna push that back, slide right out. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove this. At this point, this is what your Camaro should look like. So now that we have our old one, we're gonna put our brand new one in. As you can see, it has exactly the same connection on the back. There's only one connection you need to do from the car, and it'll be right here. You do not need to connect anything else. However, on this one, you have that one connection, but then you have 2 other connections, and these are just for if you want to connect cameras, so you can see the camera display on the display itself. And then you have like the USB. When we do updates, that's where we want to connect to right here. So at this moment, I'm just going to do the USB just so we could get this going. And then in later videos, I'll show you guys how to connect cameras, how to install them, so you could get the system fully functioning. So let's go ahead and drop this in, and we're going to bring this down. It always helps to bring the steering wheel down just so you can have more space to play. So now what we're going to do is we have a special adapter that we're going to connect to this, and it will be this one right here. It has a CAN bus, and this is so you could control your steering wheel and everything else. So we're going to go ahead and take the factory plug, and we're going to connect the female to the male, and it only fits one way. If I try to go like this, it's not going to fit. Like if I try to do this, it won't fit. This is the correct way, this way. So we're gonna go ahead in, and we're gonna push it in. Once it locks in place, we'll push that down. The canvas, we're gonna stick way in here. This way it doesn't interfere. So we'll just stick that in, and we'll leave this wire out. Next, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna plug this in, and the installation is basically done. And it's the same deal as the other one. We're just gonna push it in, and this clip is gonna land in place, and then we just push it down to lock it in. And next I have my USB cable wire, and I'm just gonna plug that right in here. That will be this end right here. All right, once it clicks in, we're good. Sometimes it helps if you just stand up from the car and you do it from out here, so you can see what you're doing. So much easier, so much faster. This is a convertible, which it helps, but you should be able to look at it and reach it with a coupe model. So there it is right now. So that's in. So let's go ahead and push everything back into place, and we are gonna test it and see how it runs. All right, so now we're gonna push everything into place. For now, what I did with my USB cable. I just left it right under the steering wheel column, right over here. This way, if in case I need to do an update or anything, we could always do it. And it's right under here, it's tucked in. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't get tangled. So we're just gonna put it in right there. You could put it wherever you want. If you want to run into your glove box with an extension, whatever you want to do. I leave it right here just because it's convenient, and you could always tuck this in and it won't come out. All right, so a quick tip for you guys. I would always start when installing it back again to start with the top screws. Why? If you don't have a magnetic screwdriver or socket, if you drop the screw and you have the two at the bottom, you will have to take out the two at the bottom, remove everything, retrieve your screws, and try it again. So I highly recommend do the top two. Then once the two top ones are secured, go ahead and do the bottom ones. In this case, I do not have a magnetic socket, so it's gonna fall out really easy. So I'm gonna show you a trick that I do. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some tape on this right here. Then I'm just gonna stick this in and it holds right into place. All right, so now what we wanna do is I just gonna plug it right here so it can guide me in. And then once it lands in the back, we just tighten it up. That's it. We do not want to over tighten because we got other ones and we don't want it to be crooked. Next is the other top one. Same thing on top. Now this one I'm gonna have to guide in. I recommend you use a light or flashlight so you can guide yourself. So now the two top ones are done. So now we're gonna do the two bottom ones. And we're gonna go here. Just stick this right in here. Done deal. One more screw. Right, guys, so it's always a good idea before you even put on these 4 screws is to check if everything is working properly. Make sure you got power, everything is working. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. At this moment, we took out the start button, so we're gonna just remove the start button from the panel itself, and we're just gonna put it here and we'll try it. All right, so what we want to do is remove the engine start button, and that's under here. And what we're gonna do basically is we're gonna push in this tab up here, the one at the bottom, at the same time, and we're gonna push it out and it should come right out. So now we have our start button. So let's go and test this out. Okay, so we're gonna plug this in, and basically what you want to do is make sure it's facing up, make sure the wires are aligned, it doesn't fit any other way. So it goes in like this. So now we're able to push it and it will turn on. And there's my speedometer, fully digital speedometer. There will be more videos coming soon on the functionality, how it works, how to set it up, all that good stuff in the future videos. Over here, it has a display. It says the TPMS is no good, which is true. My TPMS is not working. And I had another error. I think it was the washer fluid. All right, so we're gonna just remove this, put it back in the panel. We're gonna put our panel back on, radio back on, and we'll give it a final test. All right, so before we put our panel back, we want to make sure we grab all these wires here and we put them right through this hole, this square. If not, you're gonna have to take everything apart again. And sometimes it's for something simple, it's just one wire. You have to remove everything. So we have everything here. It's 6 wires for this version of the radio. And then we're gonna put everything back in place. Everything should click back on. Let's not forget our light. This is very important. Don't forget about this one. Since it's smaller, people tend to forget. I tend to forget all the time. But there we go. So now we're gonna just push everything into place. Oh, I didn't connect the start switch. All right, so we gotta take everything back out. That's plugged in, and just make sure everything is right. Now we can go ahead and put it in. Okay. All right. So I don't know if you noticed that this piece fell off when I was taking it out, and the reason I took it out earlier, and that's why it was still loose, is because I was looking at this is really simple to change. So if you want to upgrade to carbon fiber, you could get those parts on eBay. We might probably have them in the future, but very easy to remove, and you don't need that whole trim like the 5th generation Camaro, which had that big trim. These are probably much cheaper. It's a smaller. So there you go. So that's into place. Everything is in place now. We're gonna go ahead and screw everything back on. Remember, we have 1, 2, 3 screws here. Then this one here. This panel has to go in before the radio. If you put the radio before this, you're gonna have to remove the radio and put everything back in. It already happened. So let's go with this. And we're gonna just push it into place. Remember, this is after all the screws are back on. I'm not gonna put any screws because I have to take this out, and since I'm working on the radio for this model here, which I'm gonna show you guys in a second on the screen. I have to keep taking it out and back and forth, so I don't want to keep screwing out and unscrewing everything back in. So this is back into place. We'll put a screw here, and the 2 that go here, the 2 bottom ones are the ones that hold the radio in place. And we have our radio. We're gonna put a little towel to protect the screen. Then you have these guys here. These don't really matter where they go. They only have like positive and negative. So it doesn't matter if one goes here or the other one goes here. And then we're gonna have our main power and then the USB source, which also has power right there. So we're gonna go ahead and just push this right in. The top goes in first, just like that, and then we'll put the 2 screws. All right, again, another tip: when you're connecting this in, always start with the right hand side. I don't know why that one is harder to put in, but sometimes it becomes a pain since it has a gap in there, and then the screws tends to fall, and then it goes inside the radio. So you have to remove everything and put the radio back on. All right, so everything looks like it's in place. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the screw. Again, we're gonna introduce it, put it right into place, and screw it right in. Now what we have to do is we're left with 2 things. One of them is the panel. We're gonna put that in. I'm gonna do this one. It's a lot faster than the other one. Just snaps right in. There you go. Then this one up here, don't forget. Just gonna put it right into the place where it belongs, and basically just give it a little pressure down, and it should land right into place. There you go. That's it. So now we have our install. We're gonna put our steering wheel, lock it into place. Remember the wire we have here. I also have the Camaro wire here. This is so we could do a test later, and I'll show you guys how it works without, you know, running all the wires and everything. This is a simple installation. So, and this is it's meant to be just for the purpose of installing the actual unit, not how everything works. That will be in a different video. So we have our USB and our camera input, which I'm not going to use now, but I will stick right over here. You could tape that up. You could put a zip tie just so it doesn't fall out of place. And then the same thing here. and we're gonna just tuck it right in there. This will not fall out of place. This is usually there. I drive around it. I've been using this system for about 6 months already, and it's all been testing and troubleshooting, and we are 95% there. So there are some details that need to be resolved, especially for the convertible type, where some of the messages don't come out, but that's going to be fixed on updates that we do. There won't be no need to change the unit. So basically you'll be able to update the system, and it'll give you all the functionality that is missing right now. And it's mostly messages like when it tells you that the top is up or down, that it's not secured in place. Of course, you guys with the coupe won't have this issue. This is only for the convertible version. And I think we're ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and press my power button. So we have my screen over there. All right, guys, this is it for the installation. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're gonna go over everything. We're gonna test it out. I'm gonna show you how to put a couple of codes inside so we can program your steering wheel, your radio, so everything works in unison. So thank you for the support. This is the 2016 to 2024 digital speedometer that you can find at digitaloctopusradio.com. Follow us, hit that like button, and I'll catch you on the next one.